Hi everyone, I'm Rachel and I'm presenting on temporal lobe epilepsy and early life stress. So temporal lobe epilepsy is a type of epilepsy characterized by seizures that occur in the temporal lobes of the brain. There are two main types of seizures: focal aware seizures and focal impaired awareness seizures. Focal aware seizures can include things like déjà vu, jamais vu, sudden emotional changes, or altered sensory experiences. Focal impaired awareness seizures can include things like lip smacking, chewing, swallowing, repetitive behaviors like picking at clothing or digging through a bag, or sudden and brief loss of speaking, reading, or comprehension abilities. While it is well understood that stress is the most frequent precipitating factor in seizure occurrence, the fact that can predispose one to the development of epilepsy or epileptogenesis is less explored. Early life stress can be defined as the exposure to a single or multiple events during childhood that exceeds the child's coping resources and leads to prolonged phases of stress. Sources of toxic childhood stress include physical, sexual, emotional, and verbal abuse, neglect, social deprivation, racism, natural disasters, household dysfunction like witnessing violence or crime, parental death or separation, illness, and poverty. Among many other pathological neurobiological changes, research indicates that toxic early life stress has a profound impact on the developing hypothalamic pituitary adrenal axis. Put simply, the HPA axis can be conceptualized as the body's stress response system, but it also plays a critical role in mediating seizure activity. HPA axis hyperactivity has been demonstrated in temporal lobe epilepsy even after significantly long seizure-free periods. For example, elevated baseline cortisol and ACTH levels. Temporal lobe patients also exhibit abnormal response to the exogenous administration of CRH and secrete significantly higher levels of cortisol when exposed to psychosocial stressors. The notion that early life stress might predispose one to the development of epilepsy is further illustrated by the fact that a study done in Washington, D.C. found rates of epilepsy up to 3 times higher among African Americans than in whites. Rates of epilepsy are also higher in war-torn regions, low-income countries, and areas after natural disaster. While more research may be needed to untangle the exact neurobiological mechanisms, these inequities should easily be understood given the way social factors like racism, discrimination, and increased exposure to violence interact with genes and shape the developing brain, contributing to poor outcomes. This research has major implications for epilepsy intervention and prevention, including giving people access to things like shelter, healthy food, quality healthcare, quality education, and environmental complexity. Basically, more just, equitable societies equal lower rates of stress, epilepsy, and other neurological conditions. Thanks for listening.